another exciting episode on the show, a show where we explore hidden secrets in books, where authors come together to talk about their books. People come to talk about the books that they have read that have had a significant impact in their life. And you all know, in this show, we bring the best of guests to the show. We call them the top 1% of guests. We make sure to go out there and sort out for the best guests to have on the show. And once again, today we have a wonderful guest. Our guest today is an award winning author. She's a podcaster and MFA student whose story celebrates the profound connections between people and the animals who changed their lives. Her debut novel, Not of Broken and Forever Home, explores grief, healing, second chances, and the extraordinary bond between a woman and her rescue dogs through both human and canine perspectives. As a writer, podcaster, and animal advocate, our guest today believes that the most meaningful stories are built on authenticity, empathy, and what she calls real connection, real readers. Please welcome Holly B. Gutwillinger to the show. Holly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Dominic. It's so good to be here this morning on this beautiful sunny morning.
Thank you so much, Holly. I kind of struggle to pronounce your last name.
That's
Help us
okay.
out. Gutwillinger, right?
Yes, that's right. And you can call me Holly B. That's easier and quicker.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So, Holly, I hope you enjoyed that introduction.
I sure did. It's very interesting and wonderful to have someone read your bio. And, it just gives yourself a moment to reflect on yourself. So thank you for that.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm really glad that you enjoyed that. So, Holly, one of your major theme and your major phrase is real connection, real readers. Can you explain what that philosophy means to you?
Yes. It's something that has just sort of presented itself to me as I've been evolving through this entire project. As you said, it's my debut novel, and so many messages have come through for me as to what it means for me. But recently, I've been really contemplating the concept of real connections, real people, or real connections, real readers. And I think it's just coming back to the basics of connecting with people the way that I used to and continue to do so. But the world has removed itself from that person to person connection or having conversations such as these or in person. I mean, thankfully, we have online platforms now that we can connect, but it's making those true connections with the people that align with your values, your thoughts. And when I say align, I mean, there can be differences there, but that complement, I suppose, maybe that's a better turn of phrase. And so in doing so, I think that you'll have much deeper connections with people when you're networking and making friends or having conversations, which will also relate to attracting readers who are meant to read your work.
Wonderful. So, what is the opposite of real connection and real readers?
I would say the opposite would be not working on a project for the right reasons. And so perhaps that means just writing a book for the sake of accomplishing a goal, or maybe you're not spilling your heart into your work. If you're disconnected with your piece of writing, your readers will feel it, no doubt. And readers are not fools. They they read for a reason, and they're looking for the messages, the connections that they can relate to.
Right. Thank you so much, Holly. So, moving on, the next question I have for you is this. Tell us about your debut novel, Not of Broken and Forever Home. Also, in Forever, I don't know, I think the spelling is like FUR, right?
That's correct.
Is there a reason why it's not FOR?
Yes, and thank you. Not everybody asked that question, and I love explaining this. So, my debut novel is a love letter to my two rescue dogs, and I wrote it because I was trying to fix the issues my dogs have had over the last 12 years since they've been with my family and I. And one day, my dog Sully was hopping towards me, and I don't know, a little message downloaded into my thoughts. And it was just something along the lines of, just accept me the way I am. Don't try to fix me. I'm happy. You may not think so, but his body was telling me he was happy. His ears were bouncing, his tail was wagging. And so from that moment on, I kept observing my two dogs, Cash and Sully, in a different way. And I would take notes and I would jot down these little thoughts and poems, which, in a very long story short, it basically became a novel, which was completely unexpected, but it was a gift of sorts from my dog. And so when I was creating the title, it did have a very different title in the beginning, but I wanted to reflect the journey that not only my dog had had, because it is the recreation of my dog's rescue stories, even though it's fiction. But when we first adopted Sully, the attendant said that he was so broken that he would never be aggressive. Excuse me. And so I thought, he has come so far, even though he's still broken in so many ways, as we all are as people. I thought north of broken meant he was further away from being broken. And Forever Home, well, it was just a play on words so that initially readers would know there was a dog involved in the story.
Okay. So yeah, you're saying your dog is the inspiration behind the story.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So your novel includes both human and canine perspective. Why are you
Yes.
telling the story through different voices?
Well, I began to write this story as my own, and it really wasn't going to make it on paper for anyone else to read. It was just me processing my relationship with my dogs over all the years, and I've had many other dogs before Cash and Sully. And so I just wanted to work through that. And as I was working through it, I realized that Sully was trying to tell me his story in his own ways, just me observing his physical movements, that sort of thing. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun for readers to hear it in his voice? And so that's when I decided to give him a voice, a point of view in the novel and recreate his story. And that way also there was the human's perspective, because people can relate to human stories. But I wanted it to be fun, and I guess it was dedication to Sully to be able to tell it in what I think he would say.
All right. Thank you so much, Oli. So moving on, your novel includes your book asks a beautiful question. Who really rescues whom? Tell us why that theme was so important for you to explore.
Yes, it was very important, and that theme has evolved to something different and in what I call acceptance over rescuing. But there is most people understand who rescued who, because the animal fulfills so many voids in a human's life that there becomes this blurred line of who rescued who. Like the human adopts the animal from a shelter or a pound, but really in the end, the animal gives so much of themselves unconditionally. They love unconditionally. And so there becomes that blurred line, like I said, of who rescued who. But if I can take it a step further, in this situation, for me, it became about acceptance and not viewing this story so much as rescuing my dogs, but rather just accepting them where they're at and meeting them where they're at in their lives, regardless of what their issues are, but continuing to work through them, of course. And dogs are still canines, dogs, and they have issues. So you have to be a responsible owner or human and take care of what they need, in addition to giving them food, water, shelter.
Okay. So how much of the emotional journey in the novel comes from your own experience? I think not just with animals, but with your own self. Is there any at all?
Definitely, 100%. The entire novel is from my emotional experiences. And although I recreated a family and the main character's name is Renly, she is based on many of my traits, of course. And so I infused as much as I possibly could of my life experience, my knowledge into the novel. And there are a lot of what they call Easter eggs. And I've put them in the book for my own personal fun, I suppose. And anyone who knows me well enough will pick up on some of those small pieces.
Okay, so as both a writer and a podcast host, how have conversations with other creators influenced your own storytelling?
I have learned so much in the last several months of being a podcaster. I am privileged to have conversations with people from all walks of life, not just authors. It's people who are in different careers, different phases of their life, different ages. No two are the same, and every story is incredible. And I learn something new each time I have a conversation with someone. And so that can only greatly influence my storytelling as I move forward with other stories.
Okay, wonderful. So you are currently pursuing an MFA in fiction.
Mhm.
Tell us how that experience has changed you, the way you approach your own writing.
That's a good question because I'm halfway through the program. And if I'm being honest, I initially took the program because I felt like I needed the credentials for readers to believe that I had the knowledge to write a novel. I see that differently now, but I'm halfway through the program and I am enjoying it. And I've met so many wonderful, talented writers, mentors, and I've become friends with many of those writers. So, yeah, I mean, I'm working through the MFA program and alongside writing a manuscript, and it's an experience that I will cherish forever, and it has given me such wisdom and in the craft of writing. But would I say that it's necessary? Maybe not.
So, Ali, you also work with, you enjoy painting and drawing, right?
Yes.
How has that also, like visual art and writing, how do they complement each other in your creative life?
When I need a break from writing, I hop over into my creative world. And I have so many different creative hobbies. Lately, drawing and painting is what's keeping my attention. And I'm focusing on dogs because my stories include dogs and cats and animals. And so for me, I think when I'm sitting there with a drawing or a painting of a dog, in the back of my mind, it's always working through a story, whether I'm consciously thinking of it or not. I'm working through that as I'm putting on those fine details like their eyes and their muzzle, and I get to create these dogs on paper that could potentially be in a story because I'm oftentimes as I'm painting I come back to storytelling, and I can see the dog as a character, and then one thing leads to another, and then I have another storyline, and I've got so many stories ahead of me that I need the time to write them. So yeah, I use the creative process as a break from writing, but I just get to exercise a different part of my brain.
Okay. So Holly, you volunteer with an animal rescue organization. Tell us how that work deepen your understanding of the human-animal bond.
Well, I mean, I have always wanted to volunteer with a rescue organization, and aligning myself with the right one is the key here. And so recently I've aligned myself with a local shelter. And in fact, tonight I'm going to his dog obedience lesson with him to learn how to be a better human for dogs. And it's enhancing my life in so many ways. Even though I have my two dogs, I get to take what I've learned in, let's say, that lesson or the time spent with different dogs and bring it back home to my dogs. Just because they're seniors doesn't mean they can't learn, doesn't mean we can't try something different. So it comes full circle because I rescued my two dogs and many before them, and I can't rescue them all. I can't take them all home. But by volunteering some of my time, it's a way for me to give back, not only to my community, but the dogs, the cats, the horses. It allows me to spend time giving parts of myself to them as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm sure your relationship with your dog has had you made you to have relationship with other animals and understanding the human animal bond. So I
Mhm.
just wondering, did it come off as weird to you or to your friends when you wrote the book about your dog?
Can you repeat that last part? Sorry?
Is writing the book or did making the book about your dog come off as weird to your friends?
Oh, that's a good question. No, they fully expected it. People are, when I go to vendor shows and farmers market to sell my book, I give the one line pitch for trying to sell the book. But when I do say that I gave my dog a voice, they kind of take a step back and go, "Oh," and they'll have, mostly it's a positive reaction, and I really haven't had any negative reactions. I think people are looking for distractions in today's world. So no, this was not a surprise to anyone. It was a surprise to me though, because I did say this in the beginning, but I did not expect to write this book. It was a gift. It spilled out of me, and I really do thank my dog Sully for this story. So, although he's been through so much in his life, as Cash has as well, and me, um, this was a beautiful and continues to be a beautiful time in my life. I get to spend it with my dogs, and I get to hear from readers who enjoyed the book. And yeah, they're not surprised at all. So all of my stories will have dogs in them from now on because it just brings me absolute happiness.
Okay, Holly, so what advice would you give aspiring writers who are trying to build a career from the ground up?
That that's a loaded question because I'm still at the beginning of my career, but I never stopped. I never stopped looking for answers. I never stopped asking questions. I never stopped talking to people, communicating. And that comes back to that real connections, real people, real readers. Just talk to people, have conversations. Authors want to share their knowledge. I would say for the most part, if they don't, they're in a different category. But I have been so fortunate to have people share their wisdom and their knowledge, and I've just continued to learn. I take classes. For me, podcasts were the absolute best thing in my life. I listened to them morning, noon, and night when I wasn't working my day job, and I just absorbed all the information I could. And I really believe that helped me in the beginning days. And I still listen to them all the time. And although I may have a little bit more knowledge, no two people are alike, no two processes are the same, but you have to take what works for you and just keep building from there. And eventually, I remember in the beginning, people will say, "You'll find your voice." And I had no idea what that meant. I know what that means now. And it just means finding your happy place in writing should bring you happiness and joy. There should be effort, definitely. And there are moments of challenge and lots of hard work, but it should be worth it. And you need to want to be there. That was a long answer. Sorry.
Okay, Holly, thank you so much. So let's go into your next novel. Your next novel is different from your debut novel. It's a
Mhm,
romantic comedy. Tell us
mhm.
what inspired you to move into a different genre.
I believe that many of my novels will likely be in different genres. Just that's just how I am. I love to dabble in so many different creative ventures, but this novel came to me at about, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 5 in the morning. And I was waking up in bed, and the storyline, the outline just started to fill my thoughts. So I had to get up, came out to the little shed here where I do my podcasting, my writing, and I started writing. And it was page after page after page of just the story from very beginning to end. And that's how that story came about. I really don't know where it came from. It's very different from the first one, but I knew I wanted to stay in um, a place of joy and love. And so I created this love story in the dog park. So the meet cute happens in the dog park in the very beginning. So there's no spoilers there.
All right. So what do you hope readers feel when they turn different page of Notes of Broken and Forever Home?
I'm sorry, Dominic. Can you repeat that question?
I said, what do you hope readers take away when they turn the pages of Not of Broken and Forever Home?
Well, I'm definitely asking readers to set aside their not expectations, but their judgment, because they are reading about a dog who talks and tells his own story. So I would like for readers to have an open mind and also to view this story as one of acceptance. And they can attribute that to different aspects of their life. It doesn't have to just be to their dog. But I hope they find joy. It is a happily ever after. And know that those two dogs are well taken care of and have a great life here with me and my family.
All right, Holly. So, if your rescue dogs could review your book, what do you think they would say?
Well, Cash would probably say that I was spot on with the details because he has really had quite a life, that dog, in all of his antics, we'll say. So I know he would laugh at the book and go, yeah, yep, I did that. Yep, that's right. And Sully, my sweet Sully, with all of his wisdom, I think he would if he was listening to my book on Audible, which it doesn't exist yet, but it's a dream for sure one day. He would be listening with his headphones going, just peaceful, calm, and enjoying the narration. And at the end, he would be a lot like my sons who don't have a lot to say, but when they do, they mean it. He would just say, "Good job, dog mama."
Your sons refer to you as Dog Mama.
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much. This has been a very, very exciting episode so far. Honestly, I'm so happy to have you today. And so, is there a question you wish I would have asked you that I did not ask you?
No, you asked a great questions. It's been wonderful. And you've allowed me to explore some parts that I never really spent time thinking about. So good job.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, I really appreciate you taking out your time to be here, and to my audience as well. Thank you all so much, and we wish you continued success with Not of Broken and Forever Home, your podcast and your upcoming romantic comedy. Thank you for joining us today, and we pray and wish you that you find success in your new book as well. Yeah, the new comedy that you have coming up. Thank you so much, Oli, for coming to the show.
Thank you so much, Dominic. I've enjoyed my time with you. Thanks.
All right. Have a nice day, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.